Think about your marriage right now. Have you taken an assessment of where you are today in your marriage? Have you asked yourself, how do you feel about your husband right now? When you wake up to him in the mornings or when he come home from work, when you speak to him on the phone, are you feeling frustrated, aggravated, or are you guys okay right now? Yeah? Or are you on a 10 and feel like, oh my God, I'm so in love with my husband right now? Yes. Well, allow me to share with you some ingredients that I've learned to help turn your marriage around. Please know I am not coming to you today as a mentor, marriage counselor, or therapist. Okay? I'm coming to you as a wife that's learning how to be the best wife that I could be for my husband. And I'm sharing some of the techniques that I've learned along the way and still working on them today. Did y'all hear that rhyme? Hey, hey, hey. Hey girl, hey. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sharon, and I'm here to inspire you, share tips, reviews, and my lifestyle. But first, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon below so you won't miss any new videos that I upload weekly. If someone asked you right now, how are you doing? What would you say? For me, today's a good day. How are you connecting with your husband throughout the day? Do you call or text each other throughout the day? Do you have dinner together and cuddle with one another when you get home from work? Usually, when we are not at a 10, it's because we're focusing on all the things that are not happening in our marriages. Let's get real with one another. What I've learned is your unmet expectations define your 10. Let's talk about how to reach a level 10 and what ingredients we need to get there. And before you ask, yes, I have tried them all. And I have to say, they seem to be working. And that is why I am sharing this information with you. Number 1, time. When did things change in your marriage? Was he always like this? Did he change right after you got married? Or did he change after you had children? What you have to do is embrace, accept, and acknowledge where you are in your marriage right now. I know. You don't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it either. But we have to accept reality. You have endured years of arguments and disappointments and letdowns. But we must remember, the good outweighs the bad. It takes a lot of energy to do this, but it's a process. If we want to see the change, we have to put in the work. What are you willing to put into it to turn things around? You have to be patient to make the changes that you need to make. And you need to be patient for him to make the changes that he needs to make. This process is not going to happen overnight. Again, it takes time. So remember, you need to have the endurance, the mentality, and the persistence. And don't forget the patience to endure this. Number 2, surrender. You have to give up the need to control the situation. I know you want the situation, whatever it is, to be different. We want it to happen when we want it to. I know I did. What we do is compare our marriages to other marriages instead of focusing on what is our reality. Let's just say Jill's husband buys her expensive gifts, but yours don't. Jill's husband takes her on lavish vacations, but yours don't. Jill's husband runs her bath every single night. Yours don't. On the other hand, your husband treats you out to dinner every Friday night. Your husband takes you out on a date once a month. Your husband helps you with chores around the house regularly. Your husband don't. We have to accept our marriage for what it is, but focus on positive expectations that it will get better in time. You must suspend the checklist. And believe me, I had a checklist. We have to change our mindset and not just focus on all the things that he is not doing. Surrender and give up the way your husband need to be. Number 3, having the right influence. By listening to this video shows that you want help. Sometimes we can be our own worst influences. We have so many negative thoughts about our marriage. We complain, we criticize, and we judge. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with positive people and influences. When you're frustrated, try journaling or reading a marriage book or listening to a marriage podcast to uplift your spirits. I know sometimes you don't want to hear that when he's not doing or acting the way you want him to act. But if you do at the right time, you'll remember what you read or what you heard. This will help you get closer to your end goal. Usually, when you talk to people about your marriage problems, they're going to respond back with what they've been through. But remember, every situation is different. Bottom line, take your issue to God in prayer. Have an honest conversation with God and tell him where you are right now in your marriage, even though he already knows. Make sure you ask God for patience and for forgiveness for all the negative thoughts towards your husband. Ask God to soften your heart. But at the end of the day, stay humble and make sure you ask that God's will be done in your marriage. Make sure at the end that you're believing and trusting that God will answer your prayer. So be bold as you thank him with gratitude. Number 4, be quiet. Be quiet as we wait and watch patiently. Boy, this was and still is a tough one for me. Just know, God ain't through with me yet, okay? Sometimes you may need to talk to yourself when you get those negative thoughts in your mind about your husband. Every once in a while, you have to talk to yourself and say, Shir, shut up. Or I'll go in the room and say, you know what? I need 5 minutes. I need to go pray. I have a question for you. When you get negative thoughts in your mind about your husband, what do you do? Do you journal, listen to a marriage podcast, or do you go pray? Let me know in the comment section. Remember this, we are all flawed people, and we marry flawed people. Thanks for chatting with me.